Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists physician assistants with employment agreement and independent contractor agreement issues. Today, I'm going to talk about standard compensation models for physician assistants. So, how are they paid? So, I'd say the most common way, very simple, is just a straight base salary. Some other industries utilize a percentage of collections or RVU-based compensation, but I'd say probably 80% of all the PAs that I work with just get a straight base salary. So really the only red flag is just how much you're getting paid. Are you getting paid fair market value? Is it common in the area? Is it common to the specialty? That type of thing. So in that scenario, really there's no kind of sneaky stuff beyond is it a fair market value amount that they're paying you. A next way could be an hourly rate. Usually if you're doing urgent care, maybe shift work as a hospitalist or in the ED of a hospital, that might be hourly. Very rarely you're going to be paid hourly if you're working in like an outpatient clinic or something like that. So that's another thing where you just need to make certain that the hourly wage is consistent with fair market value, so you're not getting taken advantage of there. Now, the more kind of productivity-based agreements would be either via net collections or RVU. So if you're in a hospital or health network position, you will not be paid via collections. You'll be, at least a percentage of collections, you'll be paid via an RVU. And so how that would work generally, and it could be a hybrid, meaning you get a guaranteed base, and then you get a bonus of an RVU on top of it, or you could get a draw and then it's reconciled monthly, quarterly, yearly, and then you would get, if you're ultra productive, you would get a bonus for your RVU production. There's a ton of different ways of doing it, and let me just explain the RVU model quickly. So normally it would be as a bonus, not so much as your base. So you would get a base, and then on top of that, based upon your RVU production, you could get a bonus. As I said before, monthly, quarterly, yearly are kind of the normal ways of doing it. And so let's just say you make $120,000 a year. So if you make $10,000 a month, they would basically take whatever your RVU production was in that month, multiply that times some kind of factor, and then compare that to your base salary. If it's more via RVUs, you would get paid the amount as a bonus. Another way of doing it would be just setting a threshold. So you have to produce 300 RVUs per month, and then any RVU produced above that, you would get a bonus, and that's via a compensation factor. So somewhere between, $20 to $50 per RVU over the threshold amount would not be uncommon. And then they would usually pay that out in the next pay period. If it was monthly, same thing. If it's quarterly, they would compare whether you're over the threshold or not, and then just multiply. Pretty simple. Now, if you're working in an outpatient setting or kind of a physician-owned practice, they don't generally use RVUs. They'll use net collections. What that means is you'd get a percentage of whatever the practice collects on your behalf, usually somewhere between 30 to 40%. So in that scenario, if it's just pure collections, let's say it's 30%. At the end of the month, they would do a reconciliation. Everything that was collected on your behalf, they would multiply that times 30%, and that's how much you would make. I would say it's relatively rare just to have a pure collections-based physician assistant compensation. Normally it'd be a hybrid of they'd give you a base, and then similar to an RVU. So like let's say it was, as I said before, you're making $10,000 a month. They would do the 30% times your collections. If that amount is greater than $10,000, what they paid you via base salary, then you would receive that as a bonus, usually in the next pay period, with the next month. The only huge red flag are timing of payments. So if you're paid on collections, you want to make absolutely certain that there's no language in your contract that states all of your compensation ends at the date of termination, because the insurance cycle is somewhere between 60 to 90 days. You're going to have an encounter or do a procedure in your last month of employment, but the practice isn't going to receive that money for a month or two. And so if all of your comp ends at the date of termination, you're giving up a month or two of compensation. So you absolutely want to make sure that you get some kind of trailing collection. So usually 60 to 90 days after the termination of the contract, you'll still get your percentage, and that way you're not, working for free, which can be extraordinarily frustrating for some PAs, as you could imagine. So that's just a little breakdown on compensation for physician assistants, base salary, hourly rate, collections or RVUs, kind of the most common ways used. If you have any questions about your employment contract or independent contractor agreement, please feel free to contact my law firm. All of our contact information is listed below in the description, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. All right, thank you. Take care.